Well, you are listening to 101.5 KOCI, and this is Emo of Emo's Rock and Roll Magic Show. And we have a very special guest with us tonight, and this would be Chris White of the Zombies. So, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine, Emily. Thanks very much. It was a pleasure to join you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's my pleasure as well. Well, now the Zombies will be playing a show with Brian Wilson at the Greek in Los Angeles on September 12th, and I know our listeners would be thrilled to attend. In fact, we're going to be giving away tickets later on the show. So can you tell us a little bit about this tour you're on and why we should all really want to go to this show?
Well, it's fantastic. Brian Wilson, I've been a great fan of his for a long time, and we've worked, and I've seen him so many times on stage, and it's of my era, actually. It's some of the best songs ever written. And of course, well, with us, the Zombies, it's a celebration of the year 1968, really, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun. 1968 was one of my favorite years. I wasn't actually alive yet, but my soul was, and it just remembers that was one of the best years of music and everything. So that does sound like so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, we should all also go ahead and really congratulate you and the Zombies for your induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame this year. So that's amazing and so exciting. And I know it's been a long time coming. So how did it feel to finally get that well-deserved recognition?
Well, it was absolutely fantastic to be inducted, sort of invested,
yeah.
I'm religious, but inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with all the people that we consider greats as well. And it was a great honour. I mean, the audience was fantastic, and the fans were supporting us all the way. And of course, it's 50 years. It's 50 years since we've been together over 54 years, so it's an incredible time to be inducted. It was a great, great honour.
Yeah, that's amazing, and definitely well-deserved. And and I think that's so cool that after 50 years, you finally get that recognition. I definitely voted for you. Just letting you know.
Thank you.
And
the free tickets for our show. I'd love to see. Would love to be in the audience to watch it. It should be fantastic.
Oh, I will be there. Don't worry.
Okay. Right.
You'll see me. I love to dance really, really big and just. I have some very specific dance moves, so you should see me out there.
We watch out for you.
And so for your show, I know currently the Zombies, it's cool because you have a lot of your current members, or you have a lot of your original members, and a lot of new members as well. So what is the current lineup?
Well, there's two things. Rod and Colin have the touring band. Mm-hmm. Then when we do Odyssey and Oracle, Hugh Grundy, the drummer, and I fly over and join in, and we do the whole of Odyssey and Oracle exactly as we recorded it. So it's such a... When we're on stage, it feels like we're 25 again, so it's a great thing to do, And of course, the nice thing is that Rod and Colin are continuing recording, so it's one of those pleasurable shows which is looking back at the past and then looking forward to creating new stuff all the time.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you keep going, and, and...
Well, we're all friends, which is very rare for a 60s band.
Yeah, exactly. You always hear about so much drama and fighting, and and so I love that you guys just you don't. I've never heard of too much drama with the Zombies, so
we've grown up together. I mean, we're all in our 70s now. We started off at school.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask you about that. When you met, I know you met Rod Argent and Paul and Hugh back in school. So, what were these guys like back then as musicians and just as people?
Oh, just as much trouble.
Yeah.
But we came from two schools from the same town, and it was we grew up together. That's it, simply, and we had the same ideas about music, and listening to American music, which has started us all off. And it was great fun to start a band, and then of course our first recording went to #1 in America, which was such a shock.
Yeah, that's pretty great friendship right there.
Oh, yeah.
Get songs like that out there. And so I know Paul Arnold was the original bass player just for a short time before the Zombies started to take off. So how did you end up joining the picture?
Well, I knew the bass player's brother. I was at school with him. And then when Paul left, concentrated exams because he wanted to become a doctor. I was asked to join, and that's when we started Three-Part Harmonies, and we started writing together and creating together, and it was just great pleasure to start with them.
Yeah, I love that. I love that you were all just friends. So I think that adds a lot of chemistry to the band when there's actually this, sense of love and just I love friendship. So starting a band with your friends is great. And so I know the Zombies first got a recording contract with Decca, and that was after winning a beat group competition. Now, do you remember this contest?
Very much so, because to be quite honest, the band was going to finish because the other members, because they're 2 years younger than me, were going to go to college. I was going to be. I was 4 years at art college, so I was going to be a teacher. And then we decided just to enter this contest as a last throw before we all split up. And then we won the thing. So we'll give it 6 months. We'll try it for 6 months, and that was over 50 years ago.
I think you might have made it that 6 months. Good job.
Yeah, we never know.
Well, many of your songs have reached a lot higher in the charts in the U.S. than they did in the UK, such as some of your biggest ones, She's Not There and Time of the Season. Do you have any knowledge or just estimation as to why a lot of your songs are more successful in a foreign land?
Well, I think really it was the Beatles who we thought were fantastically creative people. They opened up the whole era of America. Mm-hmm. We were the second group really to get its own self-written song to number one in America after the Beatles. It was them who opened the door, and we would love playing America. It was so much bigger than England. So come on, I mean, there's one ranch in Texas which is bigger than England. It was our magic land, the land of our heroes, and the people who started us off. Like Buddy Holly, Elvis Presley. All those people who excited us and made us start writing songs.
Yeah, well, I am very happy that your songs came to America because that's where I live, and just in case you couldn't tell. So glad I get to listen and see you as well.
Fantastic. Good. We'll hope to see you at the show.
Oh, I will be there. Like I said, don't worry.
Well,
would not miss that.
Make sure you make yourself known because I don't know what you look like, and I know.
Okay, I'm short. I have brown hair, so just look for a short 26-year-old with brown hair who's dancing all over the Greek.
Fantastic. That helps. Okay, look forward to that very much.
And now you were one of the main writers alongside of Rod and wrote
That's
so
right.
many of the amazing songs like Leave Me Be, Remember You, Changes, much more, of course. Do you have a favorite song that you've written that we should play tonight?
Actually, it's a song that the current touring band do on stage, which we wrote for the following group called Argent. I think it was Hold Your Head Up, but the Zombies do it on stage. That's one of my favorites, Hold Your Head Up.
It's a great one. I love that one. And all right, then we will definitely go ahead and play that tonight.
Thank you.
So you will be performing Odyssey and Oracle in its entirety for this tour as part of your celebration of 1968. So what do you think makes this album stand apart from the others?
Wish I knew. I would have done it several times over. Nobody wanted it when it first came out, and then so many people like Tom Petty and different artists really quoted it as one of their favourite albums. And then it was, over the last 15, 20 years, it picked up, and it's probably far more popular now than when it came out. We split up because nobody wanted it when it came out.
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
Being quoted, as a game changer for people.
And I know there's I heard a rumor that you used John Mellon's Mellotron on this.
Yes.
Is that true?
We went into Abbey Road Studios just after the Beatles left doing Sgt. Pepper, and we'd rehearsed because we only got set £30,000 to do this album, and so we had to rehearse very well with the songs, and it was only 4 tracks. But then we saw the Mellotron there. Well, Rod saw it, and of course, Genius on the keyboard, and that coloured the whole album. It just added so much to it.
Yeah, I love that. Well, then now we know that it's not just a rumor. It's true.
No, thank you, John, very much.
So you just talked about when you broke up after Odyssey and Oracle because it didn't do as well during its time as it's doing now. And you also broke up right before Time of the Season reached the top of the charts. So how did that feel at that time to see Time of the Season just explode in its popularity and reach the top of the charts, and you weren't even together anymore?
Well, it was a pleasure. We actually were in America at the time Rod and I were carried on producing and writing. And we were involved with Argent and with Colin Blunstone's first albums as well. And we always wanted to go forward, so there was no point in regrouping and taking advantage. But there were several fake groups going around calling themselves the Zombies after the time of the season, including two of ZZ Top were in a fake.
Oh, no way.
Yes. Always joked that we retired would do a fake ZZ Top band.
I really hope you do that. I would love to see that. So you also mentioned earlier about Argent, which was Rod Argent's other band that he started after the Zombies broke up, and then you worked in production and writing with them. So what would you say the biggest differences were with working with Argent than working with the Zombies?
Well, first thing was that I decided to stop playing bass at that point. Mm-hmm. So many much better bass players at the time, and it was more progressive. It was that era where Keith Emerson and other people were playing and expanding the music. It was an exciting time, and Argent was together longer than the Zombies were, because the Zombies finished first time at 1968. So
wow.
Yeah, that was the main difference. And of course, we were still working with Colin Blunstone, who's got a great voice. His voice is even better now. It's quite such an old man has got such a great voice.
After all these 50 years.
Yeah.
It's just been exercising this whole time.
Oh, he does it every time. Before he goes on stage, he's always doing his exercises. He says, if you've got an instrument, you've got to look after it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, catching up to today, all these 50 plus years later, the Zombies are still not giving up anytime soon, obviously. And a few years ago, you released Still Got That Hunger. Is there anything else you're working on in the studio right now?
Well, Rod and Colin, of course, with the touring band, myself and Hugh, the drummer, aren't with that. The new band's doing that, and it's exciting to hear new stuff from them. But I'm still writing and producing. And in fact, my sons have discovered, I think, several hundred unreleased songs of mine, which they're releasing as well. About 8 CDs worth of is coming out of my stuff, which was written over the years and never released. So that's exciting as well. And we're also working on a Zombies musical, which hopes to tell the story of the making of Odyssey and Oracle.
Ooh, well, I'm definitely gonna have to see that one and get all of our listeners to see that too. That sounds amazing. Yeah,
it's only about 1 year, and it's, when we got nearly killed in the Philippines, and then came back and Rod and I decided to produce ourselves the Odyssey and Oracle. So it's just a short period. It's not the whole history of the Zombies, but the making of Odyssey and Oracle, really.
Yeah, that sounds like so much fun.
It will be, yes.
Well, thank you so much again for joining us.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, this was so much fun. Is there any other words you have for our listeners right now, and just another push to why they need to see you at the Greek?
Well, I think if there are any young writers out there, keep on writing, because music is so important, especially nowadays. Songs and music are very, very important in our lives. Mm-hmm. We mustn't forget that. So if you're a young writer, keep on writing, keep experimenting.
All right, everyone, keep on writing, keep on experimenting. That's what we're taking away from this. Well, again, you can catch Chris with the Zombies September 12th at the Greek Theater, and they'll also be playing with Brian Wilson. So it's going to be a really, really fun night. Isn't that right, Chris?
It absolutely is going to be fun. It's going to be fantastic.
Well, again, thank you. This was so fun, and I look forward to seeing you on September 12th.
Thank you, Emily. Look forward to seeing you.
Thanks. All right. Okay. We are off the record now. So for the 8th time, thank you again.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I fly over next week, actually, to join them in Phoenix, where we start the tour. So.
Oh, great. And that will be with Brian, too?
Yeah, Brian. I think they are playing one gig with Brian, because Brian suffered from the guitarist, what's his name? Nick Wonder.
Okay, yeah.
He died while they were joining up for the tour.
Oh,
so I shall be going up, because we use Darian Sahanaja, who plays with he comes and helps us perform Odyssey and Oracle.
Oh, cool.
And my wife's on stage singing as well, doing the backing vocals. We
fun.
create the same lineup as the way we did it when we did Odyssey and Oracle.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Well, I'm really, really excited. I think it's going to be so much fun.
See you there, then.
All right, I'll see you there. Have a great rest of your day.
And you too. Bye.
Bye.